Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar and it means Renuka with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of various projects virtually at Somnath Temple in Gujarat tomorrow. Ministry of Home Affairs recommends CBI probe into 1,000 low-floor bus purchase by the Delhi government. India crosses yet another milestone in COVID-19 vaccination drive with a total vaccination crossing 57 crore mark today. National COVID-19 recovery rate stands at 97.53%. Meghalaya government decides to open a number of activities from Monday. Khadi India sets up stalls at 75 railway stations across the country to celebrate 75 years of independence. At least 3 people killed and 50 others injured in an explosion at central Pakistan. An International Monetary Fund suspends Afghanistan's access to funds over lack of clarity on government. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is underway, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact the national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate and lay the foundation stone of various projects worth 83 crore rupees at the historic Somnath Temple in Gujarat tomorrow through video conference. Prime Minister Modi is the chairman of the Sri Somnath Trust, which manages the affairs of the world-famous temple located in Prabhas Patan town in Gir Somnath district. Secretary of the Trust Praveen Lahiri said Mr. Modi will inaugurate 3 projects and also perform a virtual groundbreaking ceremony for the Parvati temple coming up near the main temple at a cost of 30 crore rupees. The event will be organized in the Ram Mandir auditorium of the Somnath temple tomorrow. Ministry of Home Affairs has recommended a preliminary inquiry by the CBI into the alleged irregularities in procurement of 1,000 low-floor buses by the Delhi government. Official sources said the matter has been examined in the Home Ministry and with the approval of the competent authority, the DOPT has been requested to take necessary action for undertaking preliminary inquiry into the matter by the CBI. The Delhi government has been informed about the CBI probe in a letter to the Chief Secretary by Additional Secretary UT in Home Ministry. Earlier, the matter of irregularities in annual maintenance contract AMC of the bus procurement by the Delhi Transport Corporation DTC was raised by the BJP in Delhi Assembly in March this year. A 3-member committee formed by Lieutenant Governor Anil Bajal in June had found procedural flaws in the AMC and recommended scrapping it. The Lieutenant Governor had referred the matter to Home Ministry last month for its consideration.
India has crossed yet another milestone in the COVID vaccination drive, with the total vaccination crossing 57 crore mark today. The Union Health Ministry has termed it as yet another achievement in its fight against COVID-19. The recovery rate currently stands at 97.53%, which is the highest since March 2020. Daily positivity rate is at 1.94%, which is less than 3% for the last 24 days. The Union government has provided over 58 crore 31 lakh COVID vaccine doses to the states and union territories so far. It assured that more than 81 lakh 10,000 vaccine doses will be received by the states and union territories in coming days. More than 38 lakh unutilized COVID vaccine doses are still available with the states and union territories to be administered. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Jairam Thakur has directed all the Deputy Commissioners of the state to focus on contact tracing, especially in the rural areas, keeping in view the abrupt spike in the COVID-related cases. Jairam Thakur was presiding over video conferencing with Deputy Commissioners and Superintendents of Police from Shimla today to review the COVID-19 situation. Jairam Thakur said that it is a matter of concern that the cases had increased in a very short span of time. He said that social gatherings, marriage functions, feasts, etc. were the main reasons behind the spread of this pandemic.
Meghalaya government has decided to open up a number of activities in the state from Monday. After a review meeting with the Chief Minister and other officials at Shillong, Deputy Chief Minister Preston Tensong informed that all forms of close contact physical spots for activities will be allowed from Monday. He added that cinema halls will be allowed to open with 1/3 capacity. Public parks and jackpot parlours located in the state will also be allowed to open for the public who are over 18 years of age and who are already vaccinated. Meanwhile, the state reported 329 fresh new COVID-19 cases and 308 recoveries in the last 24 hours. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has said that the nation is working towards making a quantum jump in merchandise exports. He said this has been made possible due to the structural changes initiated by the government. The minister said this during a meeting with export promotion councils, commodity boards and authorities and other stakeholders in Mumbai today to discuss measures to enhance and increase exports. The minister said merchandise export target of $400 billion for 2021-22 has been set in line with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's clarion call of local goes global, make in India for the world.
The centre has facilitated export of surplus sugar and diversion of sugar to ethanol to ensure timely payment of cane dues. In past few years, sugar production in the country has been more than the domestic consumption. The central government has been encouraging sugar mills to divert surplus sugar to ethanol. In last sugar season of 2019-20, about 59.60 lakh metric tons of sugar has been exported. The National Human Rights Commission NHRC core group meeting of experts has expressed serious concern over the slow pace of reforms in the criminal justice system. The NHRC had organized the first meeting of core group on criminal justice system yesterday. In the meeting, it was felt that delays in disposal of cases result in human rights violation of the under trials, convicted prisoners and other related to the cases. The Ministry of Power has proposed to bring in transparency and reduce the burden of distribution licensee by adopting principle of first in, first out for payment by distribution licensees. The ministry circulated a draft Electricity Late Payment Surcharge Amendment Rules 2021 seeking comments for the same. The draft amendment rules are placed on the website of the Ministry of Power. The generating companies are being given an option to sell power to third party and recover their cost. The ministry said proposed amendments are in the interest of the electricity consumers and the power sector as a whole.
Power and New and Renewable Energy Minister R.K. Singh has said that the National Green Hydrogen Mission is going to be a game changer in the future. In an exclusive interview with All India Radio News, he said adoption of green hydrogen will reduce the country's carbon footprint and also cut down dependence on import of fossil fuels.
Green hydrogen is made by renewable energy. We have plentiful sun, so it will be entirely made in India. If we replace the fossil fuels like petroleum with green hydrogen, then that means our fossil fuel consumption will come down, our carbon footprint will come down. That is the objective. So we are beginning with replacing imported ammonia with green ammonia being made in India. Similarly, we are going to blend green hydrogen in PNG, piped natural gas, and CNG, compressed natural gas. We propose to start using green hydrogen for mobility, especially heavy mobility. We propose to use green hydrogen for refining petroleum. Right now, that hydrogen is extracted from imported natural gas. So we are replacing that.
Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh today launched the 5th edition of Defence India Startup Challenge DISC 5.0. The minister said there is neither shortage of talents nor lack of demand for talents in the country. The Raksha Mantri said IDEX for Fauzi is also a similar initiative which gives an opportunity to the service personnel to showcase their talent in these fields.
IDEX for फौजी हमारे सर्विस पर्सनल को इन क्षेत्रों में अपना टैलेंट दिखाने का एक अवसर प्रदान करती है, यानी अपनी समग्रता में यह हमारी आत्मनिर्भरता के लक्ष्य को प्राप्त करने में लगातार सहायक बन रहा है। आज डिस्क 5 का लॉन्च होना आत्मनिर्भरता की ओर रक्षा क्षेत्र के बढ़ते हुए कदम और युवाओं और उद्यमियों में डिस्क की लोकप्रियता को एक साथ दर्शाता है। डिफेंस और एरोस्पेस सेक्टर में इनोवेशन को बढ़ावा देने और 300 से अधिक स्टार्टअप्स को सपोर्ट करने के लिए अगले 5 वर्षों में लगभग 500 करोड़ रुपयों का बजट अभी अनुमोदित किया गया है।
Home Minister Amit Shah has expressed his gratitude towards Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat for ensuring supply of pure drinking water in all schools and Anganwadi centres of Jammu and Kashmir ahead of the stipulated time. In a series of tweets, Mr. Shah said Jammu and Kashmir is becoming synonymous with peace and prosperity. He said that the previous governments deprived citizens of Jammu and Kashmir of development for decades and only cared for their own families. He added that the Prime Minister Modi has initiated a new era of development which connects poor citizens to the mainstream, and as a result, Jammu and Kashmir is marching ahead in all fields.
Information and Broadcasting Minister, Youth Program and Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur today led the Jan Ashirwad Yatra for Himachal Pradesh from Himachal Bhavan at Chandigarh. The Jan Ashirwad Yatra is moving from Parvanu, Dharampur, Solan, Kandaghat, Sogi and will reach Peterhalf at Shimla in the evening. Our Chandigarh correspondent reports the state president of Bharatiya Janata Party, Suresh Kashyap, and BJP workers are accompanying Shri Anurag Thakur in the yatra. The Jan Ashirwad Yatra was welcomed at Parvanu by Health Minister Dr. Rajiv Sahajan. Before the start of the yatra at Chandigarh, Mr. Anurag Thakur said the Prime Minister wants the member parliaments and all newly inducted ministries to go to the people and interact with them and tell them about the vision of the government and party's version on various issues.
आज तक की सबसे युवा कैबिनेट नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने युवा भारत के लिए बनाई है। इस सोच के साथ बनाई है कि आजादी के 75 वर्ष अमृत महोत्सव तो पूरा देश मनाएगा, लेकिन संकल्प लेगा कि जब शताब्दी समारोह मनाएंगे तब भारत को विश्व की एक बड़ी शक्ति के रूप में खड़ा करेंगे। इस संकल्प के साथ हम काम करके दिखाएंगे। और आज आप सबके बीच में आकर, आपका प्यार पाकर, स्नेह समर्थन पाकर मैं यही कह सकता हूँ, आपके इस प्यार को न भुलाएंगे, बल्कि ये आपका प्यार, आशीर्वाद हमारे जोश जुनून को और दुगना करेगा और आपकी सेवा करने में हम कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan and Union Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav have said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has accorded importance to Odisha by assigning 7 important portfolios to the ministers from the state. They said this while interacting with the media in Puri today. Both the union ministers are in Odisha in connection with the Jan Ashirwad Yatra. More from our Bhubaneswar correspondent.
On the first day of their visit to the state today, the union ministers visited the holy city of Puri to have darshan of the deities at the Sri Jagannath temple. Later, interacting with reporters, Union Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said the union ministries like Railways, Information Technology, Education, Skill Development, Jal Shakti and Tribal Affairs are all having a direct bearing with the lives of the common people. The ministers will be attending a number of programs at different places as part of the Jan Ashirwad Yatra. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of various projects virtually at Somnath Temple in Gujarat tomorrow. Ministry of Home Affairs recommends CBI probe into 1,000 low-floor bus purchase by the Delhi government. India crosses yet another milestone in COVID-19 vaccination drive with the total vaccination crossing 57 crore mark today. National COVID-19 recovery rate stands at 97.53%. Meghalaya government decides to open a number of activities from Monday. Khadi India sets up stalls at 75 railway stations across the country to celebrate 75 years of independence. At least 3 people killed and 50 others injured in an explosion at central Pakistan. External Affairs Minister Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar says the world must never compromise with the evil of terrorism, chairs the UN Security Council made. And International Monetary Fund suspends Afghanistan's access to funds over lack of clarity on government. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क
Azadi Ka Safar every day with All India Radio from Monday the 16th of August. As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, News Services Division of All India Radio brings to you the story of glorious struggle and sacrifices of freedom fighters on 100.1 FM Gold channel in the English news bulletins at 8:30 AM, 2 PM and 8:30 PM. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the evening news. Let us listen now to our special segment Azadi Ka Safar.
Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. India's glorious fight for freedom is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the valiant struggle every day. In today's episode, we will briefly explore the lives of two great Indians from the southern part of our country, Dheerar Satyamurthy and P. Krishna Pillai.
Today is the birth anniversary of the brave heart Sundara Shastri Satyamurthy. Annorator par excellence, S. Satyamurthy hailed from Tirumayam in the princely state of Pudukottai of the present-day Tamil Nadu. Born on 19th of August 1887, he had a traditional upbringing. After completing education from Madras, he practiced as a lawyer for a brief period. But the quest for freedom made him become a rebel with a cause.
என்று தணியும் இந்த சுதந்திர தாகம் என்று மடியும் எங்கள் அடிமையின் மோகம் என்று மடியும் எங்கள் அடிமையின் மோகம்.
He actively took part in the protests against the colonial rulers, be it partition of Bengal, Rowlatt Act, Jallianwala Bagh massacre or Simon Commission. Satyamurthy was at the forefront.
When Satyamurthy became the mayor of Madras in 1939, the city was facing acute water scarcity. A visionary politician, Satyamurthy pressed upon the need for building a reservoir in Pundi, about 50 kilometers west of the city, to augment the water supply. Today also, it remains the only reservoir of water for Chennai. Satyamurthy was also a champion of fine arts, especially Carnatic music. He was instrumental in setting up the Music Academy of Madras.
He actively participated in the Swadeshi movement and the Quit India movement and was arrested by the British in 1942. Satyamurthy was put on trial and was sentenced to rigorous imprisonment in Amravati jail. During the journey, he hurt his spinal cord and eventually succumbed to injuries on 28 March 1943 at General Hospital, Madras. Sundara Shastri Satyamurthy was also the political mentor of senior Congress politician K. Kamaraj.
Today is also the birth and death anniversary of P. Krishna Pillai, a revolutionary freedom fighter associated with Vaikama Satyagraha, Salt Satyagraha and Guruvayur temple movement.
Although one of the founders of the left movement in the present-day Kerala, Krishna Pillai began his career in the Indian National Congress, first as a Gandhian and then as a Congress socialist. He was an active volunteer of Vaikam Satyagraha for temple entry in 1924, which was led by E.V. Ramasamy. Vaikam temple entry movement was against untouchability and caste discrimination. The success of the long-drawn protest led to the opening of temples to all the people of Hindu religion.
कौसल्या सुप्रजा रामपूर्वा सन्ध्या प्रवर्तते उत्तिष्ठ नरशार्दूल कर्तव्यं दैवमान्धिकम्.
He took part in the Salt Satyagraha March from Kozhikode to Payanur in 1930 and braved the brutal blows of the British to hold afloat the tricolour in true Gandhian style. In 1931, he became the first non-Brahmin to ring the temple bell of the Guruvayur temple.
By 1936, Krishna Pillai, who until then had initially concentrated his political activities in the Malabar region, expanded it to Cochin and Travancore. In 1938, he organized the famous workers' strike in Allapura, which turned out to be a great success and an inspiring factor behind the Punnapura Vayalar struggle of 1946. He was a great organizer who succeeded in reaching out to the oppressed masses of Kerala and making them aware of their rights.
At the time of his untimely death, on August the 19th, 1948, of snake bite, Krishna Pillai was perhaps the most familiar face in the homes of the labourers and peasants of Kerala, a leader known for his courage and dynamism, humaneness and uncompromising stand against exploitation and oppression. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar AIR News ke Sang. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
In Uttar Pradesh, the brief monsoon session of the Uttar Pradesh Vidhan Mandal, Legislative Assembly and Legislative Council after passage of supplementary budget were adjourned sine die. This session started on August 17th and was scheduled to run for 5 sittings till August 24th. This was the second session of the Vidhan Mandal in 2021-22. All arrangements according to COVID-19 protocol were put in place for the session. Finance Minister Suresh Khanna tabled supplementary demands for grant of rupees 7,301.5 crore yesterday that was passed today after debate in the House. The Khadi India stall has been set up at 75 railway stations across the country to celebrate 75 years of independence. The stalls are offering products like fabric, ready-made garments and Khadi cosmetics. These stalls will function till the Independence Day next year and will facilitate rail passengers to buy local Khadi products. The initiative will help in adding new customers and will give Khadi artisans a bigger marketing platform to promote and sell their product.
The National Investigation Agency today conducted searches at 3 locations in Patna in Jehanabad arms recovery case. The searches were conducted at the premises of an accused and 2 others who are suspected to be involved in procurement and transportation of arms for the CPI Maoists in Bihar and Jharkhand. During the searches, several incriminating materials, including handwritten documents and Naxal literature, have been seized. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, terrorists shot dead a Jammu Kashmir Apni Party JKAP leader in Devsar area of South Kashmir's Kulgam district this evening. As per police sources, the JKAP leader, identified as Ghulam Hussain Lone, was shot outside his residence.
External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar today said the world must never compromise with the evil of terrorism, and terrorism in all its forms and manifestations must be condemned. He chaired the UN Security Council briefing on threats to international peace and security caused by terrorists act this evening in New York. He said there cannot be any exception or any justification for any act of terrorism regardless of motivations behind such acts. The minister stressed that the menace of terrorism cannot and should not be associated with any religion, nationality, civilization, or any ethnic group.
In spite of the progress we have made to tighten the legal, security, financing and other frameworks to combat terrorism, terrorists are constantly finding newer ways of motivating, resourcing and executing acts of terror. Unfortunately, there are also some countries who seek to undermine or subvert our collective resolve to fight terrorism. That cannot be allowed to pass.
External Affairs Ministry has added additional numbers to its 24/7 Special Afghanistan Cell. The ministry had set up a Special Afghanistan Cell to coordinate repatriation and other requests from Afghanistan. The contact numbers of the Special Cell are +91 971 77 85 379, +91 11 490 16783, +91 11 490 16784, and +91 11 490 16785. The emails are maahelpdeskindia@gmail.com and situationroom@mea.gov.in. The WhatsApp numbers are +91 8010 611 290, +91 9599 321199, and +91 704 204 9944.
At least 3 people were killed and 50 others wounded when a bomb explosion ripped through a Shiite Muslim procession in central Pakistan today, officials said. Security was high as the religious minority marked Ashura during the holy month of Muharram, a flashpoint for sectarian violence in previous years. A senior government official of Punjab province in the city of Bahawalpur Nagar confirmed the incident. Authorities have suspended mobile phone services in major cities as a security measure during Ashura processions. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has said Afghanistan will no longer be able to access the lender's resources. An IMF spokesperson said it was due to lack of clarity within the international community over recognizing a government in Afghanistan. Resources of over $370 million from the IMF had been set to arrive on 23rd of August. These funds were part of a global IMF response to the economic crisis. The move follows the Taliban's takeover of the country last weekend.
The News Services Division of All India Radio in its daily program Spotlight will broadcast an exclusive interview with Prashant Kumar Singh, CEO, Government e-Marketplace GEM, on reforms in public procurement.
GEM is a technology-led platform which offers an end-to-end cashless, contactless and paperless procurement system, procurement journey in goods and services for sellers on one side and government buyers on the other. The platform has completely eliminated human interface in vendor registration, order placement and payment processing to a great extent. Being an open platform, GEM offers no entry barriers to bona fide suppliers who wish to do business with the government, and a range of features driven by analytics, digitization and use of technology enable openness and complete transparency.
This can be heard tonight on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:15 p.m. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi is likely to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Temperature will vary between 28 and 34 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature will be 24 degrees while the maximum is expected to be around 28 degrees. Chennai is expected to have thunderstorm with rain. Temperature will vary between 27 and 35 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will generally have cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. City will observe a minimum of 27 and a maximum of 32 degrees Celsius. Srinagar will have mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Temperature will hover between 15 and 30 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have mainly clear sky. Leh is expected to have clear sky and Gilgit is also expected to have clear sky. Muzaffarabad will have sunny sky. Minimum temperature will be 18 and the maximum around 27 degrees. Guwahati will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. Imphal will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder lightning. The minimum is 20 degrees and the maximum will be around 28 degrees. Shillong will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Aizawl, Kohima, Itanagar, Gangtok and Agartala will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate and lay foundation stone of various projects virtually at Somnath Temple in Gujarat tomorrow. Ministry of Home Affairs recommends CBI probe into 1,000 low-floor bus purchased by Delhi government. India crosses yet another milestone in COVID-19 vaccination drive with a total vaccination crossing 57 crore mark today. National COVID-19 recovery rate stands at 97.53%. Meghalaya government decides to open a number of activities from Monday. Khadi India sets up stalls at 75 railway stations across the country to celebrate 75 years of independence. At least 3 people killed and 50 others injured in an explosion in central Pakistan. External Affairs Minister Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar says the world must never compromise with the evil of terrorism, chairs the UN Security Council meet. International Monetary Fund suspends Afghanistan's access to funds over lack clarity on the government. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.